Right, boys and girls, we're back for another match review, basically. And one of my other guest is on his way to be the Gooner. He'll be here soon. But obviously, I've got Dan here from the same old Arsenal podcast. It's his own review and preview stuff on there as well, his own content. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, very well, cheers, Ryan. Thanks for having us on, mate. I'm a bit knackered because I got up this morning nice and early to watch the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder
You all
fight,
right?
and yeah, and then I went straight to the game, and I've just got back home, and I'm very tired, and I don't think my heart can take much more excitement from today because I was happy with Tyson Fury. Then I tried
Yeah,
to catch up with some sleep, and then obviously we did manage to take the 3 points, but it's never easy, mate. I tell you, being an Arsenal fan, I tell you, it's no wonder none of us live long, is it? Because there's never easy, is it, mate? Never easy.
oh no, don't be silly. We don't do things simple. As you said offline just before we came on, it's like we don't do things easy at Arsenal.
No, mate, we really don't. We
Especially at
really
home
don't.
as well. Especially at home as well. It's like my days. Man City,
Honestly, mate.
I'm thankful Man City in a cup final next week. That's all I'm saying.
I tell you, it's one of those games where I just did not know how easy it was going to be. I knew it was going to be tough, but I never, ever go to the Emirates 100% confident with this Arsenal side because you just don't know what you're going to get. But listen, we've got to be positive, mate, because we've taken huge 3 points, huge 3 points.
And again, Saka came on as well. 18 years old, third game in a week, and he's got
Listen,
an assist. I think he's got like
well, it's 10
5
now, isn't it?
assists.
Is that 10
Yeah,
assists now? I mean,
yeah.
the
I think
guy's absolutely exceptional, isn't he? 18 years old. I mean, I know he wasn't too great in the second half, and a lot of fans are giving him a little bit of stick, but
he
I
shouldn't
can't
have.
give the
He's
lad stick.
18.
Oh no, man, he just looks absolutely brilliant, doesn't he? And
Yeah,
how good can he be? You know, he could be, people that, Lee Judges said to me he could be the next Ashley Cole, everyone laughed. And I still see him as a winger personally, and I think that he could be pushed forward into that left wing role. And where does that leave Martinelli? This is all good stuff, this is great to
competition as
have
well.
in strength and depth.
It's competition as well. Even if he is pushed out to the wing, it's competition.
Absolutely.
Things will
Absolutely.
happen. So the players are uncomfortable, which is great. But again, people get on his back. But he's 18. Look, he's a kid. This is his third game in a week. It's meant to be his rest day, basically. If it weren't for this was meant to be his rest day. If it weren't for a freak injury to Seed, which doesn't look too good by the looks of it, but according to what Arteta's been saying.
Right.
So it looks like he'll be playing
What
4
happened to him?
points
Do you
from
know?
this week.
Do you know what happened to Kolasinac? Was it an arm injury or something?
I think initially it was the head, which because
Right.
he landed head first onto the ground, so he was out. He was out at one point. So there's that,
Oh dear.
and then I think where he's landed, he's done something there, but they haven't said exactly what. But it doesn't look good apparently. From what Tata said, it's not looking good. I'll say,
Bloody
I'll
hell.
say,
Where's
I'll say,
Tierney? Is Tierney back now? Is he back
I
in
think
full
he's back.
training?
He's back. He was back in doing training in Dubai, so he should be back in the next week or two. I'll say, give or
Yeah,
take.
we need him back really. Him and Saka would be good. To be fair, listen. If anyone knows me on previous podcasts, I've never been a sad Kolasinac fan. I think that he's one of those players that can frustrate me because I don't think that he's the best crosser of a football. I don't think he's very good defensively. I think he's muscly and a tank going forward, but that's about as far as it is. I think the other two are younger, vibrant, and can put a
Can
cross in.
defend
So
and can
yeah,
defend.
exactly, and can go back as well. So yeah, not wrong.
Oh my days. But when the lineups came out and I saw the lineups, I could understand why he'd rested Saka because, as we've just touched on, it would be his third game in a week. He's young. You don't want to do what United did with Gundogan, just throw him in every game and absolutely wear the guy out. So I can understand that. So I feel sorry for him. He's got to play again on Thursday now, full match.
I know, and he is going to burn out if we carry on with him. But at the same time, when someone's playing so well, the
Yeah,
fans get excited by that, don't they? I think the biggest
especially with
thing
the captain
today with
Pogba
the
as well.
exactly, I think the biggest thing today was Eddie starting again. And I actually thought he
And he
played really
scored.
well today.
Yeah,
Scored a goal,
mm-hmm.
works hard, tirelessly up there, and I think that I'm always a fan of Arsenal players or footballers in general that try hard and give 110%. And I think that's what Eddie does. He might not be the best player. He might not score you 30 goals a season, but I think what he did today was work hard. And he was one of the positives, I thought, today. Great finish. A lot of people said, I think even Gary Neville said live on the commentary, apparently, that it was very Thierry Henry-esque, the finish, just because he'd got in there. But for me, he looks more of an Ian Wright or a Jermaine Defoe, where he's just that fox in the box and he's a hell of a finisher. And I think that if he can carry on getting the game time that I believe he should deserve to get on loan at Leeds, then let's see what we've got there in Eddie Nketiah, because I think that with Lacazette and Aubameyang's kind of future in doubt, it's nice to know that we have got someone behind that's pushing him, and also that Arteta's given him a chance, because for him to come into that side, it's top drawer. And listen, another young lad, Ryan. Another young lad. So youth is on our side, mate. I thought it was going to be a bit of a kind of an option this season, but it's become a bit of a solution for us, isn't it? With the Guendouzi's, Martinelli's, Saka's, and Nketiah's.
and also Martinelli just said that. Again, an 18-year-old who came from the fourth division of Brazil for £6 million. What a steal!
Unbelievable signing.
And what more baffling? That Man United a few years ago had a chance of to have him, but they said he wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Well, if he ain't good enough for them, then I'll tell you what, we'll take him. Then, if you don't want him, we'll have him. Because I think our two best signings the last couple of seasons or transfer windows has probably been Guendouzi and Martinelli for £6 million each.
Yeah.
So.
Absolute bargain.
Absolute steals.
To concentrate back on the back four, obviously Mustafi with his new white blonde hairstyle.
Eminem hairstyle.
Not the best of starts after the plays he's had recently.
Well, this was the thing.
53 seconds in, it was just all over the place, and he's there trying to play the offside ball while everyone else is trying to defend. I'm like,
this is my problem, mate. This is my problem with Mustafi.
Fair enough, in the second half, he did a bit more concentration. He did actually get rid of the ball a lot, because it coming at him, he's just like, fuck off, piss off, go away. Fair enough. But first off, when we needed him most, first few seconds, he just, I don't know. It was just
we went to pot, didn't he? I think they all fell asleep.
Yeah.
They all fell asleep. And to be fair, half the Arsenal fans hadn't even got to their seat before we were 1-0 down. I mean, Jesus, I had people coming in going, oh, that's a good start, isn't it? And this is my problem with Mustafi, Ryan. I know he's played well. I know he's improved. Arteta has definitely improved him. There's always that one mistake.
Yeah.
There's always that one error. And he did it against Chelsea, and he's done it again today. And this is why I still believe that he hasn't got a chance in this side, because I believe that there are some unbelievable players within this squad. There are some great potential. There's some definite starters, and there's some great squad players. For me, we need an upgrade on the Squadron Mustafis of this world. And that is because he's had 4 seasons now where he's made the same mistakes. And this is another one today. And yes, he was okay. And people say to me, he's great after the mistake, but the mistake's already made and the points are already dropped. We already dropped points against Chelsea because of him, and we nearly dropped points today because of mistakes like that. So I'm not going to give the guy too much stick, but this is my problem with him. He's not a terrible footballer, but he has terrible errors in him. I think that's the main thing with him.
There's a reason why Germany manager dropped him in the last, was it World Cup? In the last World Cup, he dropped him completely, didn't he, for the squad? But yeah, it's Euros, wasn't it? World Cup and Euros, he got dropped in. But it was just bizarre. And as Tony said in the thing about, we're talking about bargains, Leno again.
Yeah.
Apart from that one error for the equalised, the second goal, the second half.
Saved us
again.
He did save us again. He's making the most saves in the Premier League, this keeper.
Yeah. And as he said, 22.5 mil. That was 2 summers ago now. How much do you think? He's got to be worth at least treble that.
Well, listen, if Kepa was 75 million for Chelsea, then what's Leno worth? Do you know what I mean? Because at 75 million for Kepa, I think we did the better deal in 22.5 million for Leno, because he's a better goalkeeper all round. And there was rumours that Bayern Munich are interested in him because Neuer's coming to an end. But I don't want that. I mean, there was rumours that they're going to find someone else now. I think there was rumours about him getting another player in. But listen, I'm a massive fan of Leno. I think he's been one of our most consistent players this season. I think the error today and the error against Chelsea are the only 2 that I can see that he's ever made, really. So he's kept us in it so many times. And again, today kept us in it with great saves. So I'm a massive fan of Leno. Huge fan.
Again, Tony in his chat has put another chat message in there. And he's back, Mustafi and Benham. I can't disagree, because they were... this now, the combination was just not right. Because tracking back, especially second half, Bellingham loses the ball and he's not running back, and then Mustafi's having to pull out of his position to cover him, and then there's the gap then left in the centre, because again, Bellingham's there's no communication there. Unless David Lewis is there back to Bellingham to him to get back in their positions and defend, there's no urgency with him. It seems Saka shows some urgency, and he's a kid. He's
Mm.
showing more urgency. But again, is it because he's come through the academy? He knows what it is to play for the Arsenal. That's why he wants to give it all because he's a fan himself. What baffles me is this whole we've got Mari in on loan. I think it's a done deal basically. Come the summer, he'll be signed up. I mean, this big deal of I'll tell you what, the left footed centre back. That's the thing. We've gone out and got him, but he hasn't. He's not even on the bench. He's not even playing.
It's frustrating as well, isn't it? It is frustrating. I mean, listen, Bellerin has come back and he's been put straight back into the side from a horrendous injury, which he's been trying to get back and all that. So I get that. But he's lost his pace, Ryan. He looks slow to me now, Bellerin. You know, he hasn't got the pace that he had when he was beforehand. And I'm a massive fan of him as an Arsenal fan, and as an Arsenal player. I think he's a good lad. But I do think that the combination there, Tony is dead right, that it's not working, and there's some communication problems there for me because they don't seem to suit. And I feel like the back line will be a completely different back line in the summer. You talk about Mari coming in. I think if the rumours are true, it's quite a reliable source of mine that says that we have signed Upamecano in the summer for 50 million plus Emil Smith Rowe. And Smith Rowe, there's a buyback clause on it if we want him back. So that's what I've heard for 50 million on Emil Smith Rowe. No idea how 100% true that is, but from rumours before, it sounds quite reliable. And that would be a good signing for me with William Saliba coming in. So if we're going to have Mari, Saliba, Upamecano, and perhaps Luiz, if he's going to stay, then we can then get rid of the likes of Socrates and Mustafi, and obviously allow Holding and Chambers to either be there as cover or go out on loan or whatever they be. I think the centre-back positions need to be sorted out because it's a huge problem for our future. I think they're okay at the moment, but moving forward, I'm still not sure that they're set to move us to the next level.
And yeah, that's the thing. That's the one thing I've given a praise for Arteta, because obviously the infamous words, even going never touched on it. A few weeks ago, I said Mustafi and Luiz were uncoachable, and Socrates. And obviously, since Arteta's come in, it's literally like the first start. But Arteta's come in, he's like, the foundations of everything that was there before, he's just torn down and he's starting from scratch from the defence. He wanted everything to be, and if everyone's now acknowledging finally we are defending better, apart from today, obviously. We are defending as one. I was saying last week to James, when was the last time we watched a game where Arsenal, the entire 11, track back together and go forward together as one in unison? I mean, our striker, our top goal scorer, is tracking and defending, helping out Saka.
Yeah, listen, 6 clean sheets, mate, in 11 games that he's been in charge, or 12 games, is it now? 6 clean sheets in 12 games. Unai Emery couldn't keep 1 in 20. So, you know, I look at that and I think, how has Arteta done that? And it's quite ironic, the fact that his kind of emulate style of Pep Guardiola is such attacking sort of football. He's actually come in and done what George Graham did, and that's start out from the back and say, right, let's stop conceding, and now let's go forward. And now we're starting to see the transition improving. Now we're starting to see us score goals. Now we're starting to see the likes of, you know, Pepe coming into games more. We're starting to see Aubameyang getting back on the score sheet, and slowly but surely we're starting to see us improving going forward. So long may it continue.
Tony's got another comment he's made about the right back. Needed to be looking at the right back, and I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but from PSG could be on a fee. Would you take him?
Thomas Meunier, yeah. Thomas Meunier is a great right back. I'll give you that. All I will say about the situation is Cedric Suarez is there. Maitland-Niles is there. Bellerin is there. And we've just talked about the left back situation with Kolasinac, Saka and Tierney. I'm not so sure that right back is a definite 100% position that we need to improve upon unless Bellerin was to get a nasty injury again. I actually think Maitland-Niles has really impressed me there, and I wouldn't mind seeing what he can do in midfield now, because Maitland-Niles has been kind of quite consistent in the last few games, or since Arteta's taken over, before Bellerin did come back. I believe that a defensive midfielder, a creative midfielder, and 2 centre-halves are much more important to me than a right back. But listen, Tony's right in terms of, you know, Meunier would be a real experienced head, and as a free transfer, that is a steal.
That's what I was going to say now, but the main, as we've just touched on about, our main issue is centre backs and in our midfield. Just get that combination, that pairing right. the strongest pairing spot on, and if obviously your Gunduzis or whatever on the bench coming on and learning their trade that way. Um, Moving on to the midfield, obviously the pairing today was Ceballos and Granit. What would you make of that? Because obviously Arteta's then gone from the format of what he did last week
Mm.
against Newcastle. Did you think it worked today, or do you think it was a bit?
I would like to see three in midfield and the number 10 role dropped. And I've said this before on other podcasts that I don't think the number 10 role should exist. I think it doesn't exist anymore in football. I think it's dead.
No.
Mesut Ozil can only play in a number 10 role. So for me, I wouldn't play Mesut Ozil. Love him or hate him, he's a Marmite player. For me, I think he's okay for certain games, but I wouldn't be the name on the team sheet that I pick every single game. The three in midfield that I'd like to see is Torreira, Ceballos and Xhaka, because I think what you've got there is hard work, box to box, but also a little bit of balance. And I think
Yeah,
with Mesut Ozil, there's no tracking back. It's just all about the number 10 position. I think if you look at Liverpool, Man City, they have three in midfield. Kevin De Bruyne doesn't play number 10. They have Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Oxlade-Chamberlain for Liverpool, or Fabinho, whoever it be. I think I'd like to see that with Arsenal now. And I would do all I can in the summer to get Jack Grealish, because I think he'd be one of the most amazing players for Arsenal going forward in terms of what Arteta is trying to achieve. I think he would suit our style of play so well. And I would love to see Jack Grealish in there with another beast of a defensive midfielder and Lucas Torreira. And you can keep the likes of Guendouzi, Xhaka. If we want to get Ceballos from his loan, we can keep Joe Willock or loan him out and have him there in the background. For me, Mesut Ozil, it just needs to be kind of moved on now, personally.
yeah. I've been saying for God knows how long about Ozil needing to go because he doesn't do. He didn't. No matter what we think of Emery, he didn't do what Emery wanted. He's come. Arteta's come in. Arteta's given him a chance. He's not doing it. It's still. Yeah, he tracks back every now and then, or he gets involved a bit more in midfield a bit, but he's not doing it. He's not still not 100% doing what he's been asked of. It's his main role is being creative and opening up space for the attackers. He's not been doing that now. What was it the other? What game was it? I'm trying to think now. We were playing. Oh, I'm trying to think. It might have been the Chelsea game just before New Year or something like that. But basically, he had beginning of the second half, he had the ball up twice, and instead of doing what he normally does, he's absolutely pelted it, and it's gone out for a goal kick. And I was like, seriously, and I was just like,
Yeah.
Personally, I think he should have gone when Sanchez went, basically.
Yeah.
But I think the reason he was kept on is because obviously Sanchez had gone and the club didn't want it to upheaval in the fan base. But there's far better players out there that will do a job for the wage that he was demanding as well.
I think so, and with Mesut Ozil, I would have loved to have seen both him and Sanchez leave, get some money for him. Doesn't matter if he's only 20 million, and then we give Ramsey what he needs on his contract and keep him, because that's a player that we would still be playing in the team now. I agree with what Tony's saying here about Thomas Partey in midfield. He's very versatile. I think he's the sort of player we need, somebody that's got a bit of strength and presence in midfield that can be a beast of a defensive midfielder. And the one lad that I believe we're linked with is Papa Gay from the League Two in France. He is a player that will be a kind of mix, they say, between Kante and Pogba. So he's kind of got that box-to-box about him, but he can hold the ball up in midfield and break up play. So somebody like that is definitely needed. I've also always been a fan of Doucouré from Watford. I think that as a box-to-box midfielder is the kind of player that we need. So I don't think we have to look too far, Ryan, in terms of the transfer window. I know the transfer window only just shut and we're talking about transfers, but with Saliba coming in and Upamecano, as we imagine, it would be great to see a Jack Grealish and another defensive midfielder come in. I think that would be amazing business. I really do. I think that we'd have enough to push us on to the next level with them and maybe even compete with kind of second and third. We're not going to be right up there with Liverpool next season, but it would be nice to get, that next kind of bracket up there, wouldn't it?
Oh, of course. And with Jack Grealish, I think what's going to make it easier if we were to pursue him in summer is if Villa went down, because then he's got, as I said
Exactly.
last week, he has that now. He has that taste of Premier League football. Boyhood club or not, you've got that taste now. Villa could go down. It could be another 3-4 years before they come back up again. You just don't know.
And I think he will go. I think he'll go whatever, if I'm honest. I just hope it's Arsenal that he comes to, because I think that players, that teams like Liverpool, City, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United, they'll all be interested. So,
he's also famous to come out and said that the Emirates is his favourite ground. So that's
Yeah, what does that say? That says he wants to come here, doesn't it?
oh mate, that'd be brilliant. Again, English talent as well, young English talent. But the thing is, they'll come to us and the media will be like, "No, he's shit. Go away."
Well,
After
this is the problem, but that's what I
playing
want to
one
see him
season,
not be shit. I want to see him come here and be amazing, and I think he
no,
could be. He controls a game of football, doesn't he, in that midfield?
what I'm saying is the media have this thing about Arsenal about them because we're saying that not just last Monday, the previous shows, all English talent we've got. Saka, the form he's in at the moment, absolute breakthrough there. Smith Rowe, your Reece Nelsons, all Maitland Niles even this season, it's been a versatile. Chambers, Holding, what? Where's the praise they're getting? Yet Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham are getting praised week in and week out for the same sort of performances. And that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Jack Grealish, even after all season of them praising Jack Grealish this season, he'd come to Arsenal and they'd be like, all of a sudden, even he could be playing out of his skin, literally world class levels, and they'd be like, no, not interested. Next,
yeah.
just,
Yeah, you're right. And I think the youngsters at Chelsea have had a lot of praise this season, and maybe unnecessarily so in some weeks because Mason Mount was excellent yesterday, I thought, but the last few weeks he's gone down. Tammy Abraham hasn't been hitting the form that he has at the last few games to start the season. Also, look at Callum Hudson-Odoi and think to myself that he's gone down the pan and not really shone. But no one wants to bring up Martinelli, Saka, or Guendouzi.
that's what I'm saying.
So
It's
crazy.
ridiculous. And yet, as we've mentioned before, with Saka, with his 10th assist this season, basically his debut season. He's not fifth or sixth in the rankings of assists in all competitions. Like, that's up with the De Bruyne's and all that. It's like,
Scary.
yeah, he won't get a mention for the England squad because he's got the choice of England or Algeria. If he was to choose England, he won't get nowhere near because Southgate has his favourites. He won't drop him.
He does, and I think that he can play either position now. So he's got to be
Yeah,
an option for Southgate if he continues. I really do believe that. And everyone laughed when people mentioned it. There was a lad mentioned it the other day, and everyone went, "No, no, no." But look at the left backs at the moment. Apart from Ben Chilwell, who is there? Because Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams are probably up there with Man United, but they've not been exceptional. Danny Rose has had to go to Newcastle to get games. You've got the likes of Ryan Bertrand at Southampton, who's really nowhere near as good as he was a few seasons ago. So I'm looking now thinking, okay, who else is there? Must be Saka for me.
exactly. But hey, what do we know? Southgate's the Messiah. Apparently,
Southgate knows best.
I can say different on that, but yeah, Bearded Gooner is on his way. He's running a bit late. He just messaged me. He's on his way. The attack. What did we attack today? We had obviously we've mentioned Eddie. We'll get onto him because he's again young English talent who didn't get was sent on loan to Leeds. Promised he'll get game time, this, that, and the other. So okay, go to Leeds. Didn't give him the game time. Arteta's come in, brought him back, said no, you're not going out on loan. We're going to keep you. He started playing. After a couple of games, he started to play him again. And today we saw the fruits of that in the belief that Arteta's bought into Eddie with a goal, and it was it was a good goal. Let's be honest, great cross from Saka, and an absolute sublime touch shot into the bottom corner, whilst Pickford's doing star jumps. What have you made of Eddie since he's come back though? And was you impressed today?
Well, his last two games that he's had, I don't think he's been bad at all. In the Newcastle game, he had a shot where the keeper had collected the ball and he put one onto the crossbar. I don't think he was terrible, but I did think after the game maybe he could have had the chance to slot one home and take his chance and take the ball by the horns, and that's exactly what he did in his second game today. And he's taken that chance from a great cross from Saka and he's tapped that in, as Gary Neville said, Thierry Henry-esque. I thought it was an exceptional performance. I think his work rate is really, really great. If he doesn't get the ball, he doesn't stand up there like sometimes Aubameyang does. He'll track back and he'll get himself involved and he'll drop deep and he'll play 1-2s and he'll link up. He looks to be always going forward and driving with the ball. He doesn't seem to want to go back all the time, and I quite like that with Eddie. I think he has got great ability, but I'm not so sure what he's going to be as at the moment. Is he going to be the number one striker for Arsenal in the future, or is he going to be a bit part player? at the moment, I'm sure he's happy to be a bit part player and get the game time that Arteta's doing. And I think he's got a lot of time for Arteta having that faith in him, because I thought he was going to go back on loan to a Bristol City or a Barnsley or a West Brom or somewhere like that so that he can go and get some games. But for me, he's come in and been a part of this side. And I always remember right back at pre-season, there was him and Martinelli that were by far the best. And I thought that if them two are going to get a chance, it's going to be this season. Eddie and Nketiah going on loan, I really didn't mind that. But I do believe that with selling Welbeck as well last season, we did need a third striker, and that's exactly what Eddie's been at the moment. And I wish him all the luck in the world, because I'm a big fan of him, and he's a young English talent, like you said, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. It goes to prove as well that if he'd been given a chance at Leeds in the first place, what he could have done for them. They wouldn't be in a position where they're hanging on for dear life now in the race for promotion. It's like the irony.
Relying on Bamford, who can't score. Yeah.
I just find it bizarre. Even the Leeds fans that come out on social media, it's like, we don't want Eddie to go. We like Eddie. He scores goals when he comes on. When he comes on, he'll score for us. Bamford's fucking hitting him through Z. I mean, it says something when you can't even do it at Palace.
Exactly.
But hey, because he had one little half a breakthrough season at Middlesbrough on loan from Chelsea, he's the best thing since sliced bread, apparently.
Very bizarre.
I can't. But hey, I can't complain now because he's back with us. He's scoring goals. He's playing, so I'm not going to complain. If it helps us get up the table and pushing for Europa League winner, I don't care. We need that. Again, it's rotation as well, because we've got to remember they've got a lot of games now, because we're back in the Europa League, we're still in the FA Cup. We've got, because of this winter break, we've got a lot of games come thick and fast now. Literally, 3-4 days? In 3 days, it's like one game, next game, one game, 3 days, game, 3 days. So it's going to be relentless. So Arteta is going to have to rotate. And I think that, again, that's something what he's, in his time, he's 3.5 years at Man City under Pep, he would have learned that at certain times you have to know when the right time is to take one person out or 2 or 3 people out and put in squad players that will do effectively the same job and not lose any drop in level. And again, I can't complain with Arteta, because everything Arteta's done so far since he's come in himself, everything he's said as well, he's been spot on as far as I'm concerned. I can't blame him for the goals, because the goals are solely down to the players. Once they cross that line, it's down to them. End of. But one player's not letting us down at the moment is Aubameyang. He's knocking them in, even if he ain't playing half a game here or there in sense of turning up. Doesn't turn up. He's still scoring the goals now. What is it now? The equal goal scorer in the league, which.
Yeah, I think he's got 16 or 17 any now, so he's up there with Vardy.
Yeah, which when we left, we didn't see that coming, because literally, even though you're scoring goals, it wasn't at a consistent basis. It was actually you'll score a goal or two, and then you'd go through a dry spell like Lacazette had recently, because it was constantly. Because he wasn't under. I don't want to keep digging at Emery, but he weren't getting the service he was needing to get more chances at goal on this, that, and the other. But he's scoring, and I can't really complain with Aubameyang. Especially the second goal, because then he got battered to the floor whilst heading the ball. So, and the first goal, oh my days, it was just rolling back the years.
It was.
I was just like, oh my days.
I'm a massive fan of this lad.
Because of what it was, I was like, I'm not celebrating until. Okay, so I'm going to celebrate, and it'll be like, no, VAR offside. The way VAR's gone this weekend, especially, I'm like, no, not celebrating. Nope.
I know. It is. You can never celebrate anymore, mate, because you don't know what's going to happen with VAR. But I think, listen, the first goal was a brilliant piece of play. There's 3 things. It was a brilliant ball from David Luiz. It was a brilliant first touch from Aubameyang, and it was a brilliant finish from Aubameyang as well. And I think for me, the actual first goal itself, the second goal, should I say, was a great bit of play from Nicola Pepe, who I thought was great again today, I must admit. Really coming into himself now, really coming out of his shell, really starting to settle and cutting back in on that left foot. For me, is kind of his danger. I'd love to see him take more players on, but I think that on the right hand side, I think if he was on the left, I think Pepe would be able to take it round more players. But on that right, it seems where he's comfortable. Great cross and a fantastic header that he put his neck on the line. And this is a player who's playing on the left wing, which I'm still not a fan of Aubameyang on the wing. I'd much rather see Aubameyang through the centre. But at the moment, it's working and he's still getting on the score sheet. To get 17 goals this season has saved us. There was a stat the other day saying that without Aubameyang, I think Arsenal would be in 17th or 18th position. So we'd be looking at relegation. So that's the worrying thing for me, Ryan, in the fact that in the future, is Aubameyang going to stay next season? Yes, if we get Champions League. No, if we don't. So it's so important that we either win that Europa League or get fourth or fifth, depending on what happens with Man City, because we have to get in that Champions League because Aubameyang will then stay. I'm certain he will. I think he's happy in London. I think he wants to stay at Arsenal. The fans love him, but it's whether or not we can give him Champions League football, which is what he deserves, let's be honest.
Well, definitely. And again, he loves London and it's in the lifestyle. And the fans love him, and he loves the fans because we're both at games and he gets his name. He's getting his name chanted, and he'll look over, and he'll give the thumbs up and thank the fans. This that during a game while that game's been going on. I think Thursday was a massive signal of intent from Arteta that he's not going to put everything, even though we've got the news of what's happening in Man City at the moment. He's not going to put everything into that basket. He's fully concentrating on going as far as possible, if not winning this tournament, because he's not going to do what Emery did. Because this sort of annoyed me about Emery, especially basically last season. The second we knocked out Napoli, it was clear from the fucking next Everton away onwards, he put everything in the Europa League, and I was just like, really?
Well, all we needed was one more point. That was all we needed.
Literally one point or literally a win would have got us fourth or third, basically, because it was that close. And it was in that running as well. As I said, Everton away, who had an abysmal form. They were in 3-4. They're hanging on for dear life in the league. Crystal Palace at home.
Yeah.
And he went for
Brighton at home.
Yeah.
1-1.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Teams that we early in the season in that 20-odd game in all competitions unbeaten run, we were getting wins against, getting the results, and yet all of a sudden, and also El Neni, it made it even more clear. El Neni was starting the games after that Napoli game, and that's just like a guy that wasn't even getting on the bench all season in the Premier League. All of a sudden, he's in the starting lineup at home to Palace, and it was just so frustrating that it was so clear and obvious he was putting everything into Europa League because he came to us with this supposed incredible pedigree in the Europa League of winning it 3 times in a row. Even though to win it 3 times in a row, you'd have to win it, drop out Champions League, go back through, win it. That was the worrying thing, and that side of it, if you think about it that way. But either way, it was like he was determined to prove a point and make it for Europa Leagues at the cost of the league position. Because again, looking back, after Napoli, we were what, third?
Yeah,
we looked comfortable. We just beaten Man United as well. So that looks just as a solidified thing. It just fell apart, and it was just like, whereas Arteta, it's like a completely different mindset. It might change near the end of the season depending on what happens in the league.
Well, this is the good thing about his rotation is the fact that we've got Thursday night football where Lacazette is now fully fit because he hasn't played. We've got Martinelli who hasn't played. And then we go after that game into the FA Cup game against Portsmouth. And that's when you can start to rotate again. And then you can look at the likes of the Willocks coming back in and perhaps the Guendouzi's coming back in. And you've got perhaps players then like the Maitland-Niles and Kieran Tierney's that can come back in. So we are using our squad now. And I think that's important, like you said, because last year, Emery put everything into the Europa League, and unfortunately, these senior players messed up in Baku against Chelsea. And, that's why I can't forgive some of these lads. I really can't.
Hi, Tanner. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Tanner. How you doing, man?
Hey, Dan. Good to meet you finally.
Yeah, you too, man. How you doing?
Not bad. Not bad. Sorry I'm running late here, guys. It's
no worries.
busy day here. So
just get to catch you up. What are your thoughts on today's game? I'm sure you've seen the game or seen the highlights. What are your thoughts?
I missed Everton's first goal. I actually didn't see our first goal live. I kind of got into it late, but overall, we just seemed to switch off defensively. Offensively, I thought we looked really good. Going down that left side, man, boy, when we get Kieran Tierney back healthy, I think he and Saka going down that left side is going to be something else. I really do. Offensively, I think it's really starting to come together under Arteta. But defensively, it's still, we're switching off, especially at the end of the first half there when Everton got their second goal. It was it's just chaos. It's not even organized chaos. To try to put it nicely, it's unorganized chaos on some of these set pieces. So a good effort. Aubameyang bagging 2 today was fantastic. Saka is just, man, he's turned into something else. He really is. So overall, I don't really have many complaints. I thought, listen, Mustafi, man, oh man, it's like he's a reincarnation of Sol Campbell almost at this point now. I'm kidding when I say that, but it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what the transformation that we've seen with him under Arteta at this point. I thought he had a great game today. I really did. I think he really cleaned up a few. I think he cleaned up more than a few messes there for us in our own box.
I was sort of saying, first off, the entire back four and the goalkeeper was just pushing goal work full. But as I was saying earlier, second half they all sort of woke up, so to speak. Like I said, really got into him. Oh, he's gone again. And yeah, it was just a far better performance. And Leno, as we've mentioned before, saved us a lot, basically, a hell of a lot. But while we wait for, see if he comes back. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Pepe today? Before we go into the bench and all that as well, because he got another assist. And as I said, I think I said last Monday, he's now starting to see the Pepe that we were all excited about back in the summer. And this is the thing why I've always got behind Pepe, because yes, it's a lot of money, but he didn't ask for that money, that price itself. That was his previous club. And you've got to remember, in the Gooner, he's got all the space you get all the space in the world in that league. He's not physical enough either. He's coming to a very demanding, physical, intense league. He's got to adapt just like that, because you've got to remember as well, when we bought Pepe, it was near the end of the transfer window, so he didn't really have that time to adjust quick enough. So he had to literally go when needed, basically. So Dan, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I think Pepe's not had it easy because he had the weight of his shoulders of a 72 million price tag. He's got to the stage where he has had quite a hard time to settle into a new league with 3 different managers in Unai Emery, Freddie Ljungberg, and now Mikel Arteta. He's had players around him that are lacking confidence, like the Mesut Ozils and Lacazettes of this world. But for me, he's now starting to come out of his shell, and we're now starting to see the Pepe that we wanted to see. Now, I believe he was a better signing than Zaha. I wanted Zaha. I wanted Zaha because I thought that he could have given us some pace on that wing, some creativity, and he does a lot of dirty work in the box and gets a lot of penalties, which would have been great for us. But if you look at the stats, they don't lie. Pepe's got more goals. Pepe's got more assists, and he's got another assist today. So for me, we're starting to see the Pepe that we all wanted to see now. It's an interesting point that Tony brings up here about Pepe and Ceballos and not getting enough service and stuff like that. I think Ceballos is a player we haven't mentioned, and I think the last 2 games he's really worked hard in that midfield. And I hope, like I said earlier, that we see more of him in the midfield. I'd like to see Xhaka and Torreira with him. I'm not sure that him and Ozil works, but I could be proven wrong. The last 2 games, it seems to have been okay in the middle there. I think Dani Ceballos can be that kind of Santi Cazorla figure that we had. And the best season that Mesut Ozil had was the season that Leicester won the league. He got the most assists that season. And that was when he was playing in the middle with Santi Cazorla. And for me, maybe Ceballos can be that guy who can move them both forward now. But yeah, Danny Ceballos is a great shout, and that's a great point from Tony there, in my opinion. But Pepe, we're now finally starting to see Pepe unleashed, and long may it continue, because I do like this guy, and he's got the world at his feet, great technical ability, and I think that he can be a superstar for Arsenal. I really do.
And also with Dennis Ceballos, what I noticed, especially today, he's not afraid to drop deep enough and help at the back four and stay at that last line of defence, like link up with them. Which again, I find refreshing for someone who's meant to be an attack-minded player. He's not afraid to do that, so I appreciate that, and I'm happy he does that. But like you said, I think, like you said earlier, I think I'd like to see more a three-man midfield instead of this two pairing, just because we don't need a number 10. The number 10 role is the number 10 role in general is not.
It's dead, man. There's no one else that plays it. No one else plays it.
No, exactly. You're back again. Let's hopefully I don't cut off this time. What are your thoughts on Ceballos as well?
What I saw today, I was very encouraged with what I saw today, and I think Dan, you had mentioned when I popped back in here that he's dropping deep now. He almost how do I want to say this? Not quite box to box. But he was playing defensively when he needed to. He was jumping in on the play offensively when he needed to. Not afraid to put in a challenge back there. And in fact, even the American commentators on the match today were saying he was a bit of our enforcer in the midfield today. So I'm very, very pleased with what I saw out of Danny Ceballos today.
Yeah, that's what that's the thing with, even though we had that as he ups with his own views about where Arteta's people, about where they come, like that side of it, that political side of things, had that sort of marred Arteta's thinking towards Danny. He was just seeing that the season. Maybe that was why the agent has said what he was saying in the January transfer window. But I'm sort of holding on to the grasp of when Arteta came in, he would have been injured, and he didn't want to risk rushing him back, making an injury come back even worse, and not having another Denis Suarez on our hand, like we had last year. The kid came in, barely played, got an injury, and was out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I was at our home opener this year against Burnley back in August, and he put on a masterclass in that match, and then he just sort of fell away. And part of it was the injury, part of it was Unai Emery, in my opinion. The style, and Dan, I've listened to you say all of these things ad nauseum. So, but now that he's back, he seems to be fully fit. His last few matches they haven't quite been that masterclass against Burnley, but you see it there. And even when I jump back in here, guys, I think Dan was talking about Pepe. You can see the talent there. You really can. And you can see it with Ceballos. You know what's in there. And it's just a matter of finding that role for him, I think, where he can flourish. It's the mark of any good coach in any sport is being able to it's not only just getting the best out of your players, but it's also knowing where your players fit best in your system. It's not always about having the best players. It's about having the right players. So getting Ceballos into the correct role for him, I think that's going to be huge. So.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. And as Tony says, now maybe with Spurs playing, that's the reason why he can put more time on the ball, more service himself, Pepe. This is why what frustrated me at the beginning of the season, when people were already writing him off after 3-4 games. It's just done my loafing, because people are not realising it's like one of us guys in our line of career, going from where we are, moving abroad, doing not only applying our trade where we then moving to, but then in a whole new language, a whole new everything. And if but people don't get that on board. And when it comes to football as well, as I said, but the Egon isn't the best in terms of quality. You get so much time, as I've said already, and I keep repeating myself. You get so much time on the ball to do whatever you want. Whereas the Premier League, you get no time on the ball. You have to think quick. You have to be physical as well. This is a very physically demanding league. Because I didn't catch you earlier as well. What was your thoughts on Aubameyang and obviously Eddie as well?
Eddie's goal.
Mentioned.
Eddie's goal was fantastic. That was absolutely brilliant. The cross in from Saka was again brilliant. Eddie, with Eddie, he's just going to need a run of games, and it's you know what I like the idea of bringing him back on loan. I was never a massive fan of him going out on loan in the first place, only because I was afraid when he went out on loan. I was afraid that what did happen to him at Leeds is what would happen. And my fears, unfortunately, came true there. But I always thought it's good to have that third striker, because behind him, who else is there? I mean, Martinelli isn't, in my opinion, he's not that guy yet. He's, obviously he's had flashes of brilliance. I don't know that he's ready to lead the line. And I'm not saying that Eddie is, but Eddie, bring him in off the bench if Alba gets hurt, if Laka gets hurt, if, here again, Laka went through a spell where he's not scoring. So we still have Eddie. So I'm glad that he's back. Alba today, again, just, what do you say? 2 goals, brilliant work from him. I don't think I'm telling anybody anything that they don't already know, from the game today. So I think, I don't know, maybe I think I'm in the majority here with what my thoughts are on these guys. Like I said, I think today I think the biggest problem was just some lapses mentally, defensively. Offensively, I thought we looked dangerous the entire day going forward. So
just before he came on as well, I had briefly mentioned of obviously the Man City situation, how Arteta, even though that situation is in place, because it's still, even if it was concrete, Thursday was a massive signal of intent that he's not doing an aim and putting everything in the basket of Europa League. He's going for both, and the strength of the team he put out of last Sunday, Thursday, and today is the intent that he's going as high as he can in the league, going hopefully all the way in the Europa League. That's the hope, because if all else fails and we just fall short again in the league, we've got the Europa League to go for. Basically, he doesn't want to be either one or the other. Do you, no matter what happens to Man City, say for example it gets overturned and they do stay in the top their Champions League for next season, do you think fourth spot I don't know, third out of it, but do you think fourth with this win today has sort of kept us in touching distance?
What are we? Are we still 10 off Chelsea in fourth? Is it 10? 7 or 7 off Chelsea? It's man, oh man.
And our next home game.
It's so tough because there are so many teams in between. If we were 6th or 7th and we were 7 points off Chelsea, I would say it's definitely a possibility. The difference is there's the amount of teams in between us. So we're really doing a lot of scoreboard watching, and really, I'm looking at every match now saying, okay, who's playing who, where are they, where do we stand in the table? Do we need this team to win? Do we need a draw? What are the best possible outcomes with Sheffield United every week, with Wolves every week, with United every week, with the Scum every week? Well, that's goes without saying, lose. Period. But it's just, I think anything is possible. So I'm not going to say that it's impossible. It's going to be tough. I think we've really painted ourselves into a corner here, so to speak, trying to get into fourth. But I think fifth is attainable. And listen, you catch some teams. It's almost like last year. At the end of the season, when it just seemed like nobody wanted it. Everybody was losing. And Chelsea are not consistent enough the team that right now I'm actually thinking is going to finish in fourth, as crazy as this might sound, is United.
Oh,
I think United is going to finish fourth. And only because I feel like they're developing a little bit of consistency, and I just haven't seen that consistency out of Chelsea this year. They'll win one and they'll look great, but then they'll lose at home to Southampton, and then they'll draw to to whoever they play the following week, and then they'll win again, and everybody will think, yeah, Chelsea, okay, yeah, they're fine. So anything's possible. It's going to be tough. I think it. If I were Arteta, if I'm in the room, it's just, boys, we got to focus on what's in front of us. Let's go bag these 3 points right now. But every game. And Dan, I think last year it was, I don't remember if it was you. It might have been Craig, actually, on Same Old Arsenal, when you were on there talking about, I'm like, finally somebody's saying all of the things that I'm saying. And it was that Emery put all of his eggs into that Europa League basket and it's like, I don't understand that. And even this year, then at the beginning of the season, I'm thinking, is he doing it again? And here we are in just the group stage of the Europa League, and he's still putting all of the eggs into that basket. I want to win every game. Every match that we play, I want to win. I understand you can't put the same 11 out there for every match in every competition. These guys need a break. I get it. But, man, I'm going to put out the best lineup that I can with that in mind. You know what I mean? So yeah. I want to win. I want a showing in the FA Cup. I think that's attainable. The Europa League, absolutely, and keep fighting in the Prem. Let's go. It's all hands on deck, and we need wins in every match, in every competition at this point. So, because there's no guarantee even that we're going to qualify for Europa League next year right now. Yeah. There's no guarantee for that, and the way into that is FA Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Winner of the FA Cup qualifies for Europa League. So the avenue to Champions League, we have the Prem, we have Europa League. But if we want to play, play European football, the way into that is through the FA Cup and the Premier League. So every competition and every match at this point is important.
Yeah, and I think what sort of goes in our favour at the moment is that all the teams above us have got to play each other in the next few weeks. It's going to be very telling if we take advantage of that or not, because in the past we haven't took that advantage. I'm not saying we're going to get fourth. It's going to be, as you said, it's going to be a long shot. Anything's possible, though. Football's a crazy fucking game.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Arsenal, anyway. Unless you're a Liverpool fan, it just gets handed you on a plate. I want us to get as high as possible in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Chelsea will get fourth. But I don't think. I don't know. I don't know who's going to get fourth, because I know you said United, but then they've this season they've played games like today. They've won. They've challenged someone, and then the next week they'll get better themselves. So they're being inconsistent. The one out of the teams above us at the moment, the one team that actually, in my eyes, deserves that fourth spot is the team that was playing League One 2 seasons ago. Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, yeah.
Consistent out of everyone.
Well, I'll tell you what, boys. Let's. I guess while we're on this topic, if you don't mind, let's do it. If you didn't already, and I'm sorry, I came in late, so if I'm rehashing anything you guys already talked about, I'll shut up. Next week, Bournemouth hosts Chelsea. Newcastle hosts Burnley. That's another team we've got to think about. They're hot on our heels. The only thing separating us and Burnley right now is goal differential. Although I'm pretty sure we're at +3, and I think they might be at a -5 or something right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
We're -6.
They're -6. Yeah, so we're comfortable there. Let's see, big one: Everton and Man U. Next Sunday, that's massive. And oh, by the way, one more massive match on Sunday. Is it Sunday? Yeah, next Sunday. The Scum host Wolves.
Yeah, massive.
That's those. The next Sunday that's unbelievably big. Why are we?
because we were meant to play Man City next weekend, but they're in the cup final, so we've got that.
Oh, that's why that's
obviously-
right. That's right. That's okay.
And obviously, because of that,
Yeah.
they now play Monday night,
Right.
the next day for the FA Cup.
Yeah.
But I think we have obviously West Ham and Brighton away, and in those games, the ones you've just mentioned, Tanner, but also Chelsea have got is it Chelsea Man United, or is it Man United have got Tottenham or something like that, or it might even be Man City Man United. There's a huge game coming up, so yeah,
March. So we go 2 weeks out. We've got West Ham at home. Sheffield hosts Norwich. Wolves host Brighton. Burnley hosts the Scum, and then Sunday Chelsea hosts Everton, and then the Manchester Derby at Old Trafford. Yeah, so a
massive couple of weeks.
Yeah, really. This is a good couple of weeks for scoreboard watching, fellas.
I think, honestly, out of the 11 games we've got left, I think that we need to win 7. I think we can afford to slip up in only 4 of them, because I think 21 points should cement us in 4th. And depending on what happens with City, 5th could be up for grabs. We don't know, though, yet. We got to try and go for 4th. I still think that there's enough teams around us that are slipping up. And we're lucky because there are enough teams ahead of us at the moment. We've mentioned Wolves and Sheffield United, as well as Chelsea, the Scum, and United. So I think that if I had to put money on it now, the way that our form is turning around at the moment, I think we might have a slight chance of nicking 5th. I think Man United might get 4th, like Tanner. I think Chelsea might struggle. Tottenham have got no strikers. That's a shame.
No, it's not. It's not a shame.
And I think Wolves and Sheffield United, as much as I do appreciate them, I just feel like they will have a couple of slip-ups. So let's see what happens.
Well, and let's not forget with Wolves too, they're still alive in Europa League, as are United. So so that's just one more competition for them to focus on. And not that and we're in the same boat, but let's hope that we can balance the workload. And it's something that Wolves aren't exactly used to. United should be used to this. They should be used to the workload, but the Wolves players, as far as I know, probably aren't used to playing that Thursday match and then having to turn around and play again on Sunday. So
I'll tell you what, though, if I was in the Europa League next round, I wouldn't be wanting Inter Milan, and the other team I wouldn't be wanting is Wolves. I would take anyone over those 2 teams. I really would.
Can we can't be drawn against Wolves in the next round, can we?
It's free open season next round.
It is open. Okay.
Anyone, yeah.
Okay. I thought it was the.
So yeah.
I thought the country thing didn't start till the following round. I think it was the round of the quarterfinal round. So, but
that applies to the Champions League, not first over.
Okay.
Just
gotcha.
Try and weasel out the English, basically, because I doubt the UEFA will want the all English affair like we had last year.
Yeah.
So I guarantee either, assuming all 3 of us, our clubs get through, it would be either Arsenal United or Arsenal Wolves or United Wolves in the next round. Guarantee it, because they want to weasel it out now. They want to start getting. They want their teams, and whoever don't get Wolves will get into Milan.
Yeah. Wow.
Now we've said that.
Look at the work that club has done. Between last summer and then in January, man, oh man! I'll tell you what, they're not going to be an easy out. They're not going to be a fun team to play. That's for sure.
No,
then again, hey, we said that about Napoli last year too.
Yeah,
just saying. So
that's true. You never know.
So Ryan, you mentioned you briefly said the Manchester City situation, and just to clarify, I assume you mean with the Champions League ban and everything. Okay.
Yeah. Premier League. Premier League are holding off, but it sounds like they're holding off investigating Man City this end until things are all tied up officially with UEFA. Because now, obviously, they're appealing it. They're going to drag it out for months, and then probably.
Yeah.
But they are. I think because they've been found guilty, and so apparently they were not willing and happy and coming forward with information for UEFA. So that's sort of raised eyebrows of Premier League. So they're waiting. They want to, but they're obviously waiting for everything to be finalised with UEFA. And to be fair, if you don't think Man City have been doing what they've been accused of, you've got to have your brain tested. Why is everyone else, even Liverpool, have had to do things slow and gradual? The odd buy here, like Van Dijk went in January, Alisson in the following transfer window. Might be big money, but they've had to do it slowly and gradually. And they're buying players. They bought in, what is it, Pep's second summer window. He bought an entire backline goalkeeper.
Yeah.
50 mil each.
I think I saw something on Twitter
Okay, apparently.
that said something. It was something along the lines of, that Manchester City will get this overturned on appeal simply because their owners have more money than UEFA does.
That's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
That's the arrogance of Man
So,
City.
yeah. New money. That's that new money.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why, for once, that's the thing. If Man City get this all overturned and they're successful in their appeal, all the other clubs would be like, "Well, hang on, you did initially punish them, you didn't let them off. So why the hell should we abide by them rules that you are setting in place?" Yeah, it'll be a complete free fall. They need to make an example of them. But they're not the only ones doing it. Real Madrid and Barcelona for years were bankrupt in Spain, the country itself, getting loans to sign players just because using their stature of their club. So Man City aren't the only ones, but because they were what they are, and because they're fans of from day dot, by the way, constantly gone for UEFA. This is why UEFA then gone, well, okay, we'll investigate you. We'll make an example of you. They won't touch Real Madrid. They won't touch Barcelona because of what they are.
I think Man City will appeal it, and I think they'll probably get 1 year ban in Europe. I don't think they'll get the 2. They always start big, always comes down, doesn't it? I don't know if they'll get dock points. I doubt it. I think it will just be a European ban for the year, which will be good. And something needs to happen, Say again, Ryan?
What do you think the Premier League will do though once they launch their investigation? Eventually launch the investigation there. Do you think they will dock points, like start them off next season with a minus points situation, or?
Listen, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I just feel that with the way football has gone in the past in the last few seasons, and we've seen the financial fair play, just people taking the mick with it, like the PSGs, nothing seems to happen. So I believe it will be a European ban. I don't see that the FA will step in and dock on points, as Tony's just said. I think it will just be you're out of Europe and then we start again. But listen, I could be wrong. They could be start on -9 points. They could even be, someone suggested, relegated to the League Two, like Juventus were that time and your Rangers were. I just can't see it. I think it'll be a European ban, and that'll be it.
That'll be it. Is there any precedent at all in English football to start the season like that, Dan?
I mean, yeah. Go on, Ryan. Sorry.
I think Portsmouth most recent, when they were going into they're on the brink of administration when the last couple of years of Premier League football, weren't they? They got docked a few points, but apart from that, Premier League wise, not really that I can think of, unless you can think of anything, Dan.
No, listen, I'm with you. I don't think it will be, and I think that we're looking there. And like we've seen the teams have gone into the administration style. So we've seen the Boltons of the world and the Bury that have had their -9 start or whatever it be. That's not going to be Man City, So it'll be a European ban, I think, for a year, not 2, because they'll appeal it, and that'll be it. And the financial fair play is funny because isn't it ironic that as soon as Arsene Wenger gets onto FIFA, this happens? It just seems so strange to me. He's wanted it for so long.
And all these articles popped up where he said, Man City are dope, Man City are doing this, PSG are doing it. And even PSG are being called in and out, apparently.
He's the little grass, isn't he, Arsene Wenger?
It benefits us, I don't care.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think we're the only couple that seem to abide by these rules of financial fair play, so to speak, and we're grafting basically. Whereas we're now learning, Man City aren't doing it as you expect. Let's put it right. Chelsea, when Abramovich came in, what did he do? Spend. Spent their way to the title, spent their way to get into constant Champions League, and eventually winning the Champions League. Even that wasn't good enough for him. It's no coincidence now that getting a bit political now that the UK government asked him to get a new visa and provide evidence of where his money is coming from. He's then refused to do that. Doesn't come to the country no more. Doesn't have no one in his place, and they're not spending money like they were. And in the sense of the stupid money, like the 50 million pound on Torres.
I think it's where some respect
is rolling, and Man City continued it, and now Man City have been held accountable.
I think it's where the respect comes in terms of who has won the Premier League without spending loads and loads of money. And really, for me, there's only really Blackburn, Leicester, and us to a degree that have managed to win the league without spending millions and millions of pounds, because Manchester United did most seasons. They went and bought the Wayne Rooneys when they needed to. Chelsea, you've just mentioned Torres. You look at what they've done with all of those players they bought at that time under Roman Abramovich, and then Man City are doing it as well. I think where Liverpool is slightly different, as much as they have spent money, their recruitment has been so good. It's been gradual. They've looked at what's in the Premier League already. So Jurgen Klopp has said, it's going to take me 5 years, but do you know what? I'm not going to look far. I'm going to go and buy Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's already Premier League proven. I'm going to go and buy Robertson from Hull. I'm going to buy Wijnaldum from Newcastle. I'm going to get squad players like Shaqiri from Stoke. He's not looked miles away. And I think that's where great Van Dijk from Southampton, he's looked at that and thought, these are the players I need. I'm not going to go and start signing, 70 or 80 million on a Pepe. I'm going to stick to the Premier League of what I know. And I think that's really been, I have a lot of respect for that. And I think that, we could do that in the near future. There's not much that we need. We need 4 or 5 players. Some of them are already in the Premier League that we could be looking at, in my opinion.
Like Grealish.
Yeah.
Like Grealish,
yeah. I'll throw another one out there for you. Lewis Dunk.
Yeah, man. I've always been a massive fan.
Yeah, he's a rock solid, rock steady defender, and he's Premier League proven. With Brighton, you know what you're going to be. With Brighton, you know what I mean. But that's another Premier League proven guy that I think could come in here and do a job for us as well.
I agree. I think there's a few. I think, you look at those positions we need. I've always been a fan of Decore from Watford. I think Jack Grealish is doing well at Villa. I think Lewis Dunk and Connor Cody are 2 players that I've liked at the back. Even Nathan Ake from Bournemouth. Yeah. We've talked about Zaha, but also Adama Traore is brilliant at Wolves. So, these sort of players, I'm thinking, wow, they're already there. Go and get them.
Adama Traore would almost slide right into my favorite player on Arsenal if he were to come to us. I don't know what it is about that dude. He's got something that I really, really like. I enjoy watching him play football.
Same.
Really do.
At least he wouldn't be at least if he came in as well, he wouldn't be bullied off the ball so easily. He's a
beast, isn't he?
No, he looks like he's playing the wrong sport, for crying out loud. Yeah. he could come over here and play American football. He wouldn't need a helmet or pads. It's like they're built into him already. So go play some rugby, man. Go play in the Six Nations Cup, will you?
Yeah, it's a good weekend for England anyway. Yeah. So just to wrap up, what was the substitute today? Guendouzi, was you impressed with him today? What he had to do? Because he came a bit of a live wire. I thought
I'm a massive fan of this guy. I'm a massive fan of Guendouzi, man. I don't understand the fans that criticise him. He's everything that I love about a footballer, in the fact that he's got the attitude. Yes, he's naive, but he's young. He's still a kid. He's 19, 20 years old. He needs a role model. He needs a shoulder around his, an arm around his shoulder to say, listen, man, you've got bags of potential. Let's see what you can do, because you could be the next Emmanuel Petit at Arsenal, in my opinion. I think he's got that much talent and potential. So I'm a huge fan of it. I love his passion. I love his drive. I love the way that he gets the fans up for stuff. I love his attitude. He's got that Martin Keown and Patrick Vieira nastiness inside him, which I think is great, and we all miss at the club and we all want at the club. And who's to say he can't be an Arsenal captain in the near future? I think he's going to be one hell of a talent. And again, I thought he come on, was a live wire, like you say, Ryan, and had a good performance again. I think that it was interesting to see his reaction after what had happened last week in training, where Arteta had dropped him from the squad, because I think everybody was worried that there was going to be a huge falling out and we didn't want to see another Unai Emery and Mesut Ozil situation. And straight away, Mikel Arteta said, look, mate, if you're dicking around in training, I'm going to drop you. And he's grew up about it, he's got pulled his socks up and said, okay, if that's not your attitude you want, I'll change it. And he's given him his chance to come on, and he's proven to himself in the last 2 games against Olympiacos and today that he still wants to be here and he hasn't got the hump at all. So, yeah, I wanted to see that reaction from Guendouzi. I'm a huge fan.
But also with what you just said about Arteta, he's not just based it on Arteta. He said that to everyone, and everyone's saying that. It's like, we've all got a chance. If we fuck up, we'll be dropped. And he even said that last week when he was asked why Eddie's starting in the Newcastle game. He said, "Well, I'll be honest. I've seen certain things in training here. He gives us this. He gives us that. I'm going to give him a chance." And the players are feeding off that. And again, not digging out Unai, but communication. All players are saying, we know what Arteta wants. The communication's been spot on from day dot. What he wants from us.
Isn't it ironic that you kind of see who Arteta has managed or been a manager under, but also who he's worked with? Because what I'm seeing is some stability from at the back from what he's learnt from when David Moyes was at Everton, because that's what they were when they had the likes of David Weir at the back from back in the old days. And then I'm seeing what he's done with Arsene Wenger, with the talent that he's got, with the faith he's had in the young players. And then I'm seeing some of the similar style that he's learnt from Guardiola with how good the fullbacks have been and how good the midfielders are at tucking in and covering for those fullbacks once they bomb forward. I think he's really learnt so much, not just as a player, but under the managers that he's been coached by and the managers that he's been with as a coach. I think it's great to see, really refreshing.
I think even Wenger said when Arteta was a player that you could see he had it. He had that coach mentality in him. And I thought I read somewhere that Arteta actually, as a player, was running some practices, was running some sessions on the training ground at various points of his career here at Arsenal. So, yeah, Dan, I echo everything you just said. You can see all of the little bits and pieces from the different places where he's just been a sponge.
It's coming together, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And these folks who I think I said this to Craig on Twitter the other day. These people on Twitter who who bitch about if you can't see the improvement in this team under Arteta, you just want to watch the world burn. That's my opinion on it. Stop with this. It's night and day from what it was in October and November. Night and day.
Totally agree.
Night and day. And the players buy in. You know what I mean? And that's what it's going to take. The players are buying in. And back to the point with Guendouzi that you made, Dan, he could have very easily sat there and pouted and nope, I'm not going to do this. Fine, you can sell me in the summer, whatever. No, he pulled himself up by his bootstraps and all right, time to go to work. This is what you want. This is what I'm going to give you. So, and to answer Ryan's question, if I can go back to Guendouzi today, what I saw out of him today and what I saw out of him on Thursday, echo again everything Dan said. I love everything about him that he has those moments, his decision making, but he's young, so that's going to come with more playing time and more experience. That's the only knock on that kid that I have. I love his passion. I love his energy. I love his attitude. And again, everything Dan said, he has the captaincy written all over him.
And even before last Sunday, the incident that occurred there, since Arteta's coming, he's using Guendouzi sparingly in the sense of he's not playing every minute of every game.
Yeah.
Unai was.
And to a degree,
with young players, you want to coach them, ease them in, see if they're good enough, but don't just throw them in the deep end straight from nil because they've had a good start to their career at the club. I fully expect Eddie to be in the squad on Thursday. I won't be surprised if he starts or not because again, it's game time. He might rest. He may rest Pepe again, like he did on Thursday. I can't complain. If he drops the week on Thursday, I won't complain because the players coming in are doing their part as well. And again, it's just things we weren't getting under not only Emery, under Wenger in the last few years. Under Wenger's time, it was players would come in and the levels would drop even more. It's just like we couldn't see ourselves out of anything. Like years gone by, today's result wouldn't have happened. There's no way we would have won this game under Emery. Definitely not. Hell no. The fact we conceded 50-odd seconds into a game, heads would have dropped. And
that would have been it, yeah. After that, it just would have been, here we go again.
Yeah, literally in the Europa League final, going back to that, the second Giroud scored that first goal to 1-0 up, I knew we weren't winning. I said, look, heads. I said to me and my brother watching it, I'm like, heads are dropped. They're giving up already. There's no fight. And it was ironic in that final that the only two players that showed fight in that final were two academy players, and one of them's now at Everton.
Yeah.
But hey, and that's all we've touched on this before you came on about the amount of youth we've got coming from, not just from the academy, but we've brought in like Martinelli as well. We've got so much promises in our youth at the moment. Is there anyone that's you'd zone out next season to get a bit more game time, like we've done with Smith Rowe this month?
I think there'd be a couple for me. Depending on who we buy, obviously, I'd love to see Reece Nelson and Joe Willock at playing regular football. Because they're kind of in that bracket of just underneath the lads we've just been discussing, like the Guendouzi's, the Martinellis, the Sakas. They're just underneath that. From what I hear, I don't know how true it is, but it's fairly reliable source. Smith Rowe looks to be going to Leipzig as part of the Upamecano deal. We have got a buyback on that from what I'm being told. So I think that we can forget about him. But with Nelson and Willock, I think that they have got bags of potential. I just feel like they need to go and learn to bulk up a bit. And maybe even if they had a season in the Championship to try and learn, that's a hard league. That's a tough league. Yeah. And that will toughen you up. This is what Smith Rowe's finding out at Huddersfield. So perhaps those two, yeah.
And just looking on Thursday now, obviously, before we wrap things up. Do you see Arteta making any changes on Thursday, or like wholesale changes to the squad? Or do you think he'll keep the bulk of it with one change or two?
I gotta sit here and think. I gotta think back to Thursday and the lineup we went with on Thursday. We have next weekend off now with City playing in the League Cup final. Yeah, so we have next weekend off. I tell you what. I think you're going to see another strong side put out at the very least. I don't think Aubameyang starts. I think Laka probably gets the nod ahead of Aubameyang. Don't know the extent of the Kolasinac injury. In fact, I didn't even see it today. So I heard it was his shoulder. Is that what?
He initially landed face first into the ground. Oof. And was out of it for about a minute or two. He was completely gone. And obviously came around and obviously needs his arms in this. He put his arm in this thing in the shirt.
Okay.
But Arteta apparently has come out and said that it doesn't look too good. Basically, it could be another Tierney situation in the sense of what happened at West Ham. Away.
Separated shoulder, broken collarbone, torn rotator cuff, something like that. That's so. Yeah, not knowing the extent of that injury, at the very least, doesn't look like Kolasinac will play on Thursday, so Saka probably goes back in there. I don't think you see a whole lot of changes right now. I think the one thing we've seen a fair amount of consistency from Arteta with his lineups. You see it's one or two players in certain positions that sort of alternate. So I don't think you'll see Mesut Ozil play on Thursday. But I do think we'll see Dani Ceballos in the starting lineup. So it's going to be a strong squad that he puts out there. And bottom line, it's time to go back to work and let's put our foot on their throat and end this thing. So.
Yeah, I'm with Tanner. I think that the game against Portsmouth is obviously I think it's the day after the cup final, so it's the Monday, the 2nd.
I'm sorry, guys, I forgot about that. Thanks, Dan.
But I think that will be a rotation as well. I actually think the game on Thursday, I'm with Tanner. I think it'll be a strong side. I think Leno will be in goal. I think we'll probably see Bellerin come in unless he needs a break. You might see Maitland-Niles come in. I think Saka will continue at left back. Mustafi and Luiz, I think, will continue at centre back. I reckon he'll go with Torreira, Xhaka and Ceballos in the middle of midfield. And then I think he'll probably go with Lacazette up front and potentially Pepe and Martinelli and then bring Aubameyang on. That's what I think he'll probably go with.
I honestly think that as well. And as you said about the FA Cup, obviously being on a Monday, that's the game because no disrespect to Portsmouth, that's the sort of game you can start sort of taking a few players out and then a few of the youngsters. Like
Joe Willock can go into that game. Reece Nelson can get a shout in that game. Rob Holding will probably get a start in that game. So
even though I got this away goal, as you said, we want to kill this tie off as quick as possible. We don't want to be going into the 90th minute on Thursday.
Right? Yeah. Yep.
With them
Exactly.
on the attack, trying to get it back into the tie, sort of thing.
Come out, all guns blazing, first 20 minutes, and let's bag 1 or 2 and put this thing to bed.
In all intents and purposes, as well, going by Thursday just gone, he's taking his competition seriously. As I said, keep repeating myself from earlier. He's not taking the Man City situation as gospel, and he's fully committed to going as far as possible. Hopefully, winning the competition. He's not putting all eggs in one basket. He's literally playing his best team game in, game out, as much as possible, with the odd rotation here and there with the youngsters, obviously, because they're young. They need to, as we've said before, you can't just throw them in and hope for the best constantly, because they will get burnt out. He said he was hoping to give Saka the day off today. That was the initial plan, not to play him at all, because players like himself were saying that their legs were starting to sort of tie and get a bit stiff. So there was that hope of playing him on. Obviously, he was going to play Thursday anyway, by the sounds of it. So obviously, that's rammed it home now today with Tierney not back. Do you see us getting through on Thursday with the away goal, as it stands, or do you think they could still spring a surprise on us? Because I think we're through, personally, based on the fact that their away form isn't what it apparently isn't as good as it is when it comes to their home form in this competition.
I think they've sold their best centre back, and their other centre back, who's now moved up to senior, was the one who got booked and suspended for this coming game Thursday. So defensively, they're going to be weak. I think that if we can score first, we'll go through quite comfortably. Yeah. If we don't get that goal and we look to be, it will become quite nervy, because we know that they need a goal and it counts as an away goal, which is always the disadvantage of playing the second leg away. But what we don't want to do is, what we can do is to completely throw it away and find ourselves 2 goals down early on, and then we're really trying to struggle our way through it. And that hasn't happened under Arteta yet, and that's a good thing. And I'll touch wood that it doesn't happen. Yeah. But you just know with this Arsenal team that it is weak and frail at the back at times. So I just think that if we get that early goal, I think it will be, the floodgates may open and we may get 2 or 3 more, because they're going to need to come and score. And sometimes that works out for us. Teams that need to come and attack us sometimes works in our favour. So let's hope that we're right and we go through comfortably.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I think, if I got to make a prediction here, I'm not one for making predictions, but I think we're through. And Dan, you're exactly right. I think they're going to come in here knowing they need that 1 away goal, so that could open them up at the back where where they're a little weaker right now. So, and that should play in our favor, because I think we can all agree that we're a pretty damn good team on the counterattack. So, and especially with our speed up front. So if you get Martinelli and Pepe on the wings, they want to come at us, we may come back at you and we'll just run right by you. So, but yeah, I agree with everything Dan just said, that if they come at us, hit them on the counterattack, we get that first goal right off the bat, floodgates could open, like you said, get 2, 3, maybe a 4th, and let's run away and hide then.
Exactly. Tony's put in the chat, it's on the screen here as well, but he thinks we should send Holden out on loan next season. Do you agree with that, or do you keep within the ranks next season? Because he's coming again, like Bellerin, what we mentioned before, with Bellerin coming back from a big injury.
I've said before that, and I've had this injury twice in the same knee. It's a tough injury to come back from, both physically and mentally. It's a confidence thing with the knee. It's not going to give out again. So that there's a massive mental aspect to returning from this injury. So all I would say, Holding needing a loan, I have to wait to see what we do in the summertime to see what the depth looks like, because it could be a situation where if Holding stays and we have some pretty solid depth on our back line, we could work him in gradually and help build up that mental confidence in the knee. Whereas if he goes out on loan, they may throw him right into the fire right off the bat when he's not quite ready to go mentally. So I would hesitate to agree that we should send him out on loan right now, just based on the mental aspect and really not knowing what the depth on the back line is going to look like.
Yeah, I think it's all about who comes in, because Callum Chambers is going to be out for most of next season. Let's remember, we believe Upamecano and Saliba coming in. Pablo Mari is someone that Arteta likes because he's left-footed. And then, of course, you've got David Luiz, Mustafi and Socrates. So we can't get too many here. I think there's going to be a couple that are shifted out. Whether Rob Holding is needed to be on loan for a season or not, I'm not so sure. I think the only reason that he would go out on loan is to try and give him that game time, to try and get him fit if he's not going to get the games at Arsenal. I think that's the only thing I will say about Rob Holding. If not, now I think he can still do a job here. I was a massive fan of him before the injury. I thought he was our best defender. So he has got the ability there. He's still only 22 or 23 years old, so he's quite young. So let's hope that he does have a future here, because I think he's got some potential.
When I answered that question, I was totally confusing Holding with Callum Chambers. My answer was directed towards Callum Chambers, not Rob Holding. I'm all right, guys. It's been a long day. Sorry.
So yeah, so before we sign off, where can people find you? We'll start with you, Dan. Where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at DanArsenal87. You're sitting here if you're watching, or come and watch us on Same Old Arsenal every Monday night on YouTube, 7:00, and also do a Pots preview, kind of normally midweek Wednesday or Thursday. At Same Old AFC is us on Twitter if you want to follow us. So please come and have a watch and subscribe to the channel, please.
I'll be putting the links in afterwards once everything's wrapped up here. So
cheers, Ryan.
And obviously yourself, where can we find you as well?
Same thing on Twitter at the Bearded Gooner, because I couldn't fit the Bearded Gooner in, so it's DA Bearded Gooner. YouTube channel, same thing. Just give me a search. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you're putting the links in the description, really appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll be doing that. So I have to get off here. Yeah, appreciate you both coming on. And yeah, we've got a few days off. I'm at the game on Thursday.
Yeah,
nice.
Nice late night on Thursday. Yay.
Go ahead and rub it in, boys. Go ahead, rub it in. Come on, rub it in.
When you next over here, by the way? Because you was over here recently. You was on Sky Sports.
Yeah. They were standing right out in the if you come out of the Armory, they were standing right there in the roundabout, and they were talking to some folks, and I happened to walk by. I think they caught my accent, and that was it. accent, and they were like, are you an Arsenal fan? Yeah, come on. So, okay. Shooting for April next time to be over there. Was looking at the Leicester match. So, but things may change with. I'm not sure if I'm going to make April or not. That was the original plan. But if I was also shooting for May for the last two matches of the season, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little weird, but I've always wanted to go to Villa Park, so I was going to come over. I've got a connection for away tickets. Actually, when I was there in December, I got to go to the West Ham match at the London Stadium, so that was pretty. And it was just total happenstance that we got those tickets. But so the tickets that I got, I'm staying in touch with the guy who has the tickets. He said, anytime you're here, you want to go to an away match, let me know. And so I'm hoping I can get to Villa Park for the last away match, and then hoping I get Watford. It's our last match. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for. So that'll be the middle of May for my next time over there. If not April, then May, but I'm kind of hoping I can pull off both. So
great stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
If I could figure out how to get my dogs over there full time, I'd probably just move.
Set up camp.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. They're beagles. They like being outside. So just post up right around the corner from the Emirates.
Do they like the rain though?
No, they hate the rain. I can't even get them to go outside after it pours down rain out here because the ground's all wet, and they're like little princesses. Like, you guys are supposed to be digging squirrels out of holes outside. You don't want to go outside in the rain. I don't know. Water's for drinking, boys. Water's for drinking. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Thanks, guys, for coming on. Obviously, my next show will now be either I think we'll be Friday. That'll be reviewing and previewing the Thursdays and then Monday night's games coming. But yeah, hopefully I can have you both back on again sometime soon.
Yeah, cool, man.
Definitely got to get back into the swing of things with this. So hopefully this is the picking back up here for me. So thanks for having me on, Ryan. Really appreciate it.
No worries. I hope you get you back on again soon. Again, same to you, Dan. Hopefully, if you want, you can come back on.
Cheers, Ryan. Pleasure to meet you, Dan, as well, man.
Pleasure, Dan.
And until next time, enjoy the rest of your week until Thursday. Up the Arsenal.